is obviously a very profitable and global corporation that has huge say over the media and what people think and how they communicate with each other right across the globe, with over 2 billion of a community, as you call it. And your headquarters is here in Dublin, I assume, because you are able to make use of the transfer pricing and the various mechanisms which you allow you to offset your tax against R&D, for example. Ireland has been known for helping global corporations to portray what is actually not their real profit, but they've you'll already have priced away some of your profit, but you actually portray a lot of your profit as expenses, so you pay much less profit than you would in other countries. And so therefore, having your main office in Ireland, having it in Dublin, is really important to you to be able to avail of all of this. And so given that Facebook have made this massive profit out of people's personal data, I do get it that you're saying you're sorry and that you've made mistakes, but you've a big "I wish we had" list in front of you of all the things that you've been asked about by the chair and others. Why did this happen? How did that happen? And it's very difficult for political representatives like us to trust you, given your record and given this great Damascus conversion all of a sudden, that now you're not going to allow this happen again, and now you'll make sure there's full transparency, and now that data will never be used or abused in the way it has been in the past. It's really difficult for any of us to accept that on face value. I do welcome, however, that you have announced here now, it wasn't in your original presentation, which we received through the mechanisms of the Oireachtas, but you've announced here now that you are going to use the transparency tools, roll it out from the 25th of April here in Ireland. I really welcome that, because the implications of the misuse of people's personal data in the political context of the referendum that's taken place on the 8th Amendment on abortion rights in this country could still be very, very big indeed, since that a lot of these advertising companies can prey on people's attitudes, their sexuality, has a lot of information that people don't realise, they still don't realise, that Facebook and others can gain about them just because they're advertising stuff. And political advertising in this way is totally unregulated as of now. It will be regulated, thankfully, after the 25th of May, the day of the referendum. So I do welcome the fact that you are allowing these transparency tools to be used here in Ireland. I think you should do it tomorrow rather than the 25th of May. But nevertheless, I think that it does indicate to us that you must recognise there's a problem with political advertising and the way that data is used to manipulate people's political ideas and responses, particularly if they respond to shocking images or are sensitive to certain images, etc. So I'd like you to just comment on that. Do you recognise that as a problem? Why did you choose all of a sudden, when you didn't have it in your original presentation to us, that you were going to allow these transparency tools to be rolled out here in Ireland within the few weeks of the referendum? What changed your mind? Have you been coming under pressure for that, or why have you changed your mind to not just roll it out in Canada but roll it out here? Yeah, I think that's probably all, because a lot of the questions I would have asked have been asked. But I do think it should be noted that our concern here is that a former key employee of Cambridge Analytica is being used by the no side of the referendum campaign to do political advertising for them, and that has implications and concern for the independence of that campaign.
Thank you, Deputy Smith. I'll call on Senator Joe Riley, and then we'll go back to representative of Facebook. Representative of Facebook.
Thank you. Each of the last round of questioners at some point touched on elections and on fake accounts, so maybe I'll start there, and hopefully we'll cover all of the concerns there. The changes that we're making, with the View Ads tool is the first phase of the transparency tools that we've announced. And Deputy Smith, I certainly understand the frustration and the desire that those should be out as quickly as possible. And tomorrow, if we could, these things do take time to develop and they do take time to implement. We are accelerating the deployment of the View All Ads tool in Ireland as quickly as we can. It's not going to roll out globally until sometime later this spring, early summer, probably in mid-June. But we looked hard at whether, because of the results in Canada and the fact that the test there had advanced and progressed to such a point that we had confidence that we could deploy it here a month before the referendum and do it in a way that it would work. That's why we made the decision only in recent days to accelerate and include Ireland as part of the pilot program. It will be the second and the only other country that we roll out before the global deployment.